Another day in Miss John's life. She woke early for a cup of coffee from her favorite coffee shop. She was recently hired as a literature teacher in a prestigious boarding school where discipline, routine, and tradition are highly valued. The school is an old building that was built at the beginning of World War I, an isolated, historic building, filled with eerie shadows and hidden rooms for soldiers to hide. Miss John is known for her kind heart and strict rules among students. She cares deeply about education and students' well-being. It was in the middle of class when she found a note. The note was about school records of previous literature teachers who were hired 2 years before her and mysteriously left or vanished without a trace. She decides to ignore the text and assumes it was written by one of the school's troubled teenagers. One evening, Mr. Harrison's school's math teacher was in the classroom grading papers when he heard footsteps outside the classroom door but dismissed it as part of his imagination. Suddenly, the lights go out and he finds himself trapped in the classroom. A group of students confronts him, revealing that they have been orchestrating his downfall and will be teaching him a lesson that he will never forget. Then they chased him through the school's winding hallways, attempting to make him disappear as they had done with the previous teacher. Mr. Harrison manages to skip them, hiding and sneaking around the campus. After a little while, he goes back to the classroom and finds out all the papers from the previous math test have vanished. When he contacted the schools, they checked the school's security cameras, and that was when they found out all the cameras had been broken. He decides to share his experience with Miss John, whom he meets the following day at her favorite coffee shop. When she hears his story, she recalls the note she found a few days ago. They return to School Liberty to look for the school's history. According to the books, the school was constructed during World War I and was meant to be a safe place for soldiers to hide. Shortly after that, they discovered an old map concealed behind a wall crack. It looked much like the school maps, but it did not match any of them. Later that day, they made the decision to speak with a senior teacher. Miss Dara is an old and experienced educator who has been employed there for more than 30 years. Currently, she serves as a substitute teacher. She froze when they showed her the map, but then she began to tell them about a former teacher who was always telling them about a secret floor in the school's basement. She then displayed another map of the school and compared the two, finding that they were the same size. Choice was made. Miss John and Mr. Harrison went down to the basement the next evening after the remaining students had been sent to their rooms. They went down the small staircase that led deep into the school's interior, armed only with torches and an increasing sense of fear. The farther they traveled, the colder the air became, and the faint sound of water trickling filled the empty room. The massive basement was full of forgotten objects from the school's history, including dusty bags, old furniture, and odd, obscure artifacts. Time seemed to have stopped in this area, as if the basement were a space between two other realities. However, there was another, perhaps more disturbing element. They discovered an old storage room at the far end of the basement. In front of them was a big, old, twisted wooden door. Miss John reached for the doorknob, her hands shaking. She quietly opened the door, and that was when they were shocked by what they saw. The room was a modern decorated place with chairs and a sofa. When they looked back, they were faced with a group of students. And that was when the truth was revealed. Those teachers who were vanished was bought by the parents of those students because they found out about the secret room.